Good morning.
Morning.
Jen is waiting on her energy to pick up, so give her some encouragement. She always gets a little funny a couple weeks out from her show.
Yeah.
Do they kill your meals? Is that what happens? Like you just don't? I was like, are you
kill them?
Like scale back the food intake, or?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was the opposite of what bodybuilders do.
In your off season, you build and eat a whole lot of food to build the muscle, and then when you start cutting for the show, cut your food.
They make fun of me because I do this fasting thing. I'm like, but I don't work out whenever I fast. These people, she's like hitting it hard in the gym.
Yeah.
No wonder she's a zombie. Pray for her, everyone. Pray for her. She needs it, dear Lord.
Sunday starts 3 weeks.
Sunday starts 3 weeks.
But this is impressive because last go around,
she was awful
the entire time.
Yeah.
I couldn't control it though. It wasn't my fault.
It wasn't my fault.
I'm not
It was the
taking
food's fault.
responsibility for that.
True story. But yes, she's been much more delightful this time. Thank God for everything.
Until today.
Well, no, because you're still lovely. She's just tired and kind of like
A zombie.
Right.
Just took me 4 minutes to walk 60 seconds worth of walking.
That's what she said. She's like, it took me 4 minutes to get here.
My arm went numb because my bag was so heavy with the food and things.
Where's your backpack? She has a food backpack too, guys. It's kind of the coolest thing where she keeps it on her.
I didn't have the energy to put both straps on.
Oh.
That was me putting both straps on.
Out of control.
Anywho, how you doing today?
I'm fabulous. In fact, I'm surprised that I'm fabulous because I met a new show on Netflix that is called 9 Perfect Strangers, and it's on Netflix. It's on Hulu. And if you guys haven't watched it yet, oh my God! Like, okay, Nicole Kidman and a whole bunch of them, like Melissa McCarthy and like all of these really incredible actors are in it. But the storyline is so out of control. I ended up buying the book, but I listened to books, and it's an 18-hour book, so. Last night they released the 7th episode. It's a limited series. The 8th episode comes out next Wednesday. But anyway, I'm happy today because I got to watch 9 Perfect Strangers at midnight whenever it came up. So you should watch it. It's on Hulu. It's incredible.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
At midnight, I was out like a light.
Out like a light. Well, we were out running around the world last night trying to pick, because I had forgotten to pick up signs and lock boxes. So we had to go pick up 3 lock boxes and go pick up signs at like 10 o'clock at night.
Ugh.
Yeah. But you know, it's what we do. We do it whenever the world goes to sleep, so we have no traffic and can get done things with much faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about the gym. My 5 a.m. start times have kicked in now. Yeah, because cardio's up. So, but it's good because I can get everything done before like 8:30 realistically.
Mm-hmm.
Get it all done before 8:30, and then the world is awake.
I love it. I mean, I love the idea of being able to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning because I always find that when I'm 5 o'clock.
Oh, I was like, that's not a time.
No, I like the idea of being able to wake up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning because whenever I'm when I'm on vacation, I always wake up at 6 naturally. So it's a really weird thing. Like when I'm not stressed out, I'm an early riser and I want to get to the day and I want to go do yoga and the sunrise and all this stuff. But whenever I'm in my normal life, I'm like, no, 8 o'clock. Waking up at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. Good morning, Kelly. Thank you for joining us today on today's reality. So, learning moment number 1, getting straight into it.
Oh, a midday exercise break. It can be so good for your mindset and your energy.
Is that whenever you were out there in your little red... Kathy and I were sitting outside having a little chat-see, and I look over and I see Jen bouncing around outside. And I was like, it was like, I couldn't tell if it was Jen. I was like, it walks like Jen, but, but I don't know if it's Jen because my eyes are bad.
It's a Jen.
It was a Jen.
Yeah. So I'd done, morning workout, full, 4 hours in real estate, just working from home. And then I was ready to take a nap.
Right.
Because I'd been up for most of the day. And I was like, nope, time to go do a hit. Pop a little pre-workout. I went out there and got it done. And then I wasn't ready for a nap until it was time for bed after that.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's good. And then jump back into real estate. So.
Oh man, naps are good. I haven't taken a nap in a long time. Naps are good, but I don't know what it is. Like I'm not a nap person. Like I can't take naps unless I've been like sleep deficient for many months.
Yeah.
Well, one of my biggest learning moments, and this is something that you're going to be like, wait, what? So one of my biggest learning moments is perception is everything. And so even though because I always assume like, okay, you're a realtor, you understand how the world works. That's not always the case.
As soon as that came out of your mouth, I was like, nope.
So last night I was over at a friend's house and my old mentor was there. from my days back at Long and Foster, and we were having this big conversation about, the development that's going on in the neighborhood and what we're looking at. And my friend looked at me and said, "I want an honest answer." I was like, "I will give you an honest answer." And she said, "Are you getting any financial kickbacks from the developer?" And I said, "Well, I am a businesswoman, and I tried hard. In fact, I've tried multiple times." And the answer was no, because in the event that you have a financial relationship with somebody, that ruins what, like, the public aspect of this is like, no, I'm saying this because of the value of my neighborhood. It has nothing to do with my professionalism. So, but because I am a realtor, and because we have a community, an office in the community, and they are talking about developing this land, it is assumed that I am in some kind of financial relationship with the people that are thinking about developing the land, which is, I can understand.
It makes sense
I
for
can
people to assume that.
Right, and I can understand that. I think I can understand that from a person who's not in the industry. What surprised me is that the perception from somebody who is in the industry, because if you understand how in general realtors get paid, there's no way for us to be able to have a relationship like this with these people, because they just own the land. Whenever they decide to develop this land, they're going to end up selling these land bays or giving these land bays to the Miller and Smiths, the K. Hovnanians, the Ryan Homes. I don't know if that's who they're choosing, because this is not the conversation that we're having, and we're so far out from that process. But those owners of these developers of land, those are the ones who have the realtors in with the relationships. So, like, who is it that has a relationship with the AJ team? There's a big team in the area, and they have a relationship with the AJ team. So every single home that is listed, that gets listed by the AJ team, and it's basically a data entry situation where they get paid for the data entry.
Yeah.
We won't get paid for any of this. That's not how new construction works. The only relationship that we could possibly have is if we were going in and actually working for the developer as a new construction rep. Yeah. We are resale realtors. It's a completely different market. Same thing with commercial real estate agents. And anyway, it's like, if you understood the nuances of how the industry work, you would understand, like, no, there cannot be a financial relationship here. No one's getting kickbacks. No one's having anything. But the perception is, because we're all in the same industry, there has to be some kind of relationship here, which is not in the slightest bit correct. So that was my big learning moment, is like, okay, even though you are in the industry, you don't understand how this works. And so now the perception is because I've been so vocal about how I sit with development, this is what's happening. So just be like, I don't know how to get that message out there to people. Like, do I put up a banner on the front and say we have no financial relationship? I don't know. I don't know what
people are going to assume. I don't think it's your job or duty to have to make that clear to people. Like, people are going to have their assumptions and thoughts and opinions and feelings, no matter what information you relate to them. True. So it's a waste of energy to even try and try. Like, as long as you can sleep at night, because you're not doing anything shady. Who gives an F about the rest of the world? Sorry, not sorry.
That's but, like, keep really, her around, guys, is because she's just like,
we sprinkle a little IDF powder. Yeah? I don't give a. Yeah?
Yeah. And I want to also sprinkle the IDF. Yeah, that's what she just said. But at the same time, I'm also a community servant. Like, at my heart, my heart, I am a public servant. I always have been. And so it's a weird dynamic for me to be able to, like, understand how to explain this to people. And I just want to walk around with a t-shirt and say, I do not have a relationship with any of these developers. I really am just worried about the fact that we do not have enough homes to sustain.
Oh, girl, I was stabbed reading that t-shirt.
Right. I was like, my biggest thing is, like, we are in the
Front
industry.
Says, back reads.
We are in the industry, and we do understand that there's a severe housing shortage, which we'll get to in a second with the market update. But, like, the reason why we want more homes is because we work with the resale market, and there's not enough homes out there for the growing population, either rental. That's the reason why, like, the rental prices are out of control right now. People are paying leases a year in advance. Yeah. So it's like, we don't have enough homes, especially in this area, to sustain a growing population with all of the industry that's coming in here, regardless of the fact if we get to work outside or not. So we have no homes. For the sake of your kids, for the sake of our kids, we have got to be able to figure out, because we're not getting any more land, guys. So that means with a growing population, you have to have more homes. Otherwise, your kids and your grandkids are going to be living in your basement. How you feel about that?
Bitch, you don't like that.
So anyway, that was my very long learning moment. Reminder.
Hi, Ethel.
Hi, Ethel. Good morning.
Hi, Ethel.
Yeah. So learning moment for you, number 2.
What was it? Oh, communication gets you through anything. Yeah. So it matters who you work with. Client to agent, agent to agent, lender to agent, title to agent. Everything matters. But I've got an agent on the other side of a deal right now who is just wonderful.
That's awesome.
Absolutely wonderful.
And it's not me, even though I'm on the other side of a deal right now, too.
That's another one. She's not too bad either. But no, we wrote up a made-up contingency, basically, and wrote it into the contract.
I love this so much. Tell them what the made-up contingency is, because even though something is not in the contract or a standard form, you can always get creative as long as you can have a conversation with somebody. So, good morning, Vicki.
Morning.
So her made-up contingency is basically based on military orders. Like if they get their orders, which they know that they're going to get them, they just don't know when they're going to get them.
Yeah.
So if they were to
next year.
Yeah.
We just had the conversation.
Really, it's going to be next year.
It's not happen until next year. So, but then that takes me to talk about the rent. Like we were talking about how crazy rent prices are, and I was talking about some of the stuff going on. So. We'll have to switch her loan type, obviously, because it's not a primary residence. And rent that baby for a year, and then she'll be here. Wow. So we want to secure it now.
That's incredible.
Values, they're just going to keep going
skyrocketing,
up.
Especially in this community.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Well, that's so exciting.
But it's been great communicating with the agent, because we set, a deadline for the end of this month, basically, to know if her orders are coming or not. I talked to her very late last night and talked to her again this morning, and we're not going to void. We're going to keep pushing forward.
It's a beautiful unit too, so I'm excited to hear that.
Yeah. And there's nothing for rent in that building right now. There's one rental in Belmont right now?
That's true.
In general?
Yeah.
East and Ivy listing.
$2,300
a month.
It's true.
It's a beautiful unit.
If you know anybody, right? And fresh floor, completely fresh.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. They really did a nice job
Secure
updating
building. It's wonderful.
You could be Jennifer's neighbor.
Gym in the basement, 2 parking spaces. The list goes on. Anyway, hit up Will Lawrence for details.
Go to Will Lawrence for details, for sure. Okay, well, my other learning moment, it's not necessarily a learning moment, more so just a reminder. So confrontation is hard, and communication is hard in general. And so, like, Jen and I, even though I don't think we mean to practice a fierce conversation model, but we do whenever we have to talk about things. And so, like, going in and I'll write something down the night before, and then I'll leave it alone, and then I'll bring it back, and then I'm like, can I please have 5 minutes of your time? And like sit with her to have a conversation. So it's like there are models out there that help with those conversations whenever, because I'm fine with confrontation. Like that's another thing I know about my personality. I'm fine with it. I can walk straight up to you and say like, this is how it is. But unfortunately, the majority of the world does not respond well whenever you are not on the attack is not the right word, but very direct. Yeah. So trying to respect other people's communication styles and taking the emotion out of the conversations that need to be had. It goes back to what you were saying over communication is everything. So like Will had a deal recently where the other agent on the other side was very emotional, like very emotional. And Will has a tendency to not be reactionary, but like, right. Like don't come
we
from
call that clap back.
Right, to clap back whenever somebody is being disrespectful to him. But instead, he recognizes that everybody is at a different place. And so as self-growth, as we all continue these bigger conversations within our team and all of that, is like to be able to set yourself back and recognize that you're not going to interact with that person's emotions and just get to go through and have that conversation. So it's turning out to be a really great experience all around so far. But yeah, I'm proud of him. Good. I'm proud of all of us for our self-growth, because
you never know. I mean, I keep seeing posts about this. You never know what somebody else is dealing with.
It's
you
so
know,
true.
So it's
so true. Whenever I was talking to some friends last night, they said just like, yeah, so and so, his wife just died, and that's the reason why he's been this person, but nobody knew that.
Wow.
So give people grace, give yourself grace.
Yeah.
Guarantee you, it's them, not you, or it's their situation. It's not you. Especially if you just walked into something and it's like, why are you mean? I don't like. I haven't done anything here.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you sit with that.
Right. Yeah. So market update. Jen's the one with the professional market update.
Well, I mean, I've kind of been hinting at some of the stuff that's been going on. You know, rent prices continuing to rise, affordability. You know, they're still affordable. Less affordable than they were 6 months ago, but still affordable.
True story.
And it's going to continue to go up. Not as it's the word that he kept using on the market report, exuberantly as it had been, but we're going to continue to see values increase and values rise. At the end of the day, if some of you sellers will come up off these properties
Right. Well, it's true. I'm putting it back
It
on
would
the
help
market.
these buyers out a little bit, you
It's
know?
true. I'm actually trying to find. So I saw Carly Diggs, who is a friend of ours down, and
Carly.
she's a Keller
Richmond.
agent down in. She's not. Is she? No, she's not in Rich. She's down in Virginia Beach, that area.
Oh, Carly
Yeah,
Diggs. I
Carly
was thinking
Diggs.
Carly Younger.
Yeah, no, Carly Diggs. She posted
Yeah.
something really great on her Instagram this morning that kind of defined what a seller's market is versus what a buyer's market was. And I'm like, I'm going to read this from Carly, and now I can't find.
Search her. Yeah.
I can't remember her handle.
Well, you can just search her first and last name and it'll come up.
Well, I don't know how to ID, guys. Like, that's my biggest. That is my biggest issue.
D-I-G-G-S.
Oh,
Boom.
look at God. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Get out of here.
Oh, dear.
Oh,
Is it
no.
gone already?
Oh, no, it's here.
Okay,
It's actually, okay, fine. Carly, I'm reading your story. This is, or I'm reading your thing. This is really great. So a seller's market versus a buyer's market, what's the difference? A seller's market. In a seller's market, there are fewer homes available and more buyers looking to purchase, think supply and demand. Owners have more negotiating power, and this is thanks to a nationwide housing shortage. It's a seller's market currently. In a buyer's market, which we haven't seen since we've been in the industry.
Right.
But in a buyer's market, there are more homes than buyers. Not now. There are not more homes than buyers. Buyers have more negotiating power. An economic downturn and major employer leaving the area, high crime rates, and overbuilding are all potential causes of a buyer's market.
Yeah.
We aren't in a buyer's
We
market. We haven't seen it ever.
before what are we calling it, a recession?
Yeah, before the recession. So,
It goes before our time.
what does this actually look like? Homes sell fast, selling at or above list price. Prices will continue to rise. Fewer homes on the market, and you may see lower interest rates. We are still in historically low rates. They tried to raise for a second, and then within a month, they just
Yeah.
went right back down. So buyer's market, there's more days on market, selling at or below list price. Prices will drop, more homes on the market, and you might see higher interest rates. So the biggest misconception with all of this is, well, okay, it's a seller's market, so my home should fly. That's not necessarily true either, because buyers also aren't going to, they get freaked out very easily. And so if the house is not in the condition that they want it to be in, your house will sit. Oh, poor Vicky. She said prices will continue to rise.
It's okay
It's
though.
so true. Yeah, I mean, because rates are so low. I mean, like if you were looking at whenever we first got into the industry, you know, in 2015, and the rates were in the 4s. And so now the rates are still in the 2s. You can actually buy $100,000 more of a house and have a lower payment than you could then. So even though the rates are even though the prices are on the rise,
Yeah.
you can still, your affordability is still
there.
your
Yeah.
affordability is still great.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and for renters, it's something to keep in mind. Like, I'm a renter. Surprise! Like, I'm coming to grips with that. You know, for about a month, I went through this whole thing of, well, I know what townhouse I want. I'm not going to overpay for it. No. Slow down, shawty. You're not overpaying for it.
you're paying what it currently is.
Who's knocking on our glass?
I'm not 100% sure. Q, can you go check who is knocking on our glass?
That's odd.
Welcome.
I feel like I just saw Doug pull up.
Maybe. Oh, it is Doug.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We'll talk to him in just a moment.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Decent
Yeah,
size.
so just accepting that, like, when my time is to buy, like, my time is to buy when it's to buy. And prices are what they are. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Because if I can qualify and if I can afford it, which NAR was saying, what is it, income to, like, housing affordability, something like that. You want to stay under 25 or at 25%, because then you factor in, you know, utilities, personal property taxes, all this other stuff. And this is also with the PITI, principal interest taxes, insurance. Then you end up being, you know, up towards 30% of your income going towards your housing budget. So, yeah, just playing with those numbers and really studying that and keeping a grasp on what that looks like as I go forward. And one day being a homeowner myself. And building my own equity and not my landlord's equity, but it's okay because I love where I live. And that's the other thing too. Like, some people are meant to rent. Like, they're just, that's their comfort, that's their zone. Like, they're good with that. They don't want to have to worry about anything extra. They don't give a shit about building equity.
Right. They don't care about building
wealth.
I was like, how else do you say
I do
that?
care about that, but I'm okay renting right now because that's where I am. Like, that's what I need to do to be able to get to the next step. So, you know, it's all gravy.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting that you bring up the rental thing because that was a conversation that I was having last night with my past mentor. Is she is also, you know, it's like, well, are you sure that you want? Because the conversation is, do you want rentals in your neighborhood? Mm-hmm. And my response is yes, I do want rentals in my neighborhood because those are move up buyers.
Yeah.
But also, you have to understand that the properties that they're talking about putting in this community is luxury.
Yeah.
Like beginning at a $3,000 price point and moving up. This is not a I think there's a lot of
$1,500.
Yeah, and then that's exactly what I said. I was like, if this is a $1,400, $15, you know, rental, then that's a whole nother situation. But this is secured buildings and people that have to have high credit, and like, you know, it's just not. I don't understand, and I wish that I did understand because I could, you know, perhaps I could see both sides. But I don't understand why you wouldn't want, in a transient area, why you wouldn't want luxury amenities near your homes in a community where there are buyers. So I don't get it. I'd like to get it. So if anybody can explain it to me in a way that my brain would like be able to process it, then that would be good. What did Kelly say?
It's interesting to see the market now. I think 3 townhomes popped up in my neighborhood for sale over the last week. And Kelly, it'll be interesting to see how long it takes for those to go under contract. And I shouldn't say how long, but how many days it takes for them to go under contract.
Yeah, the 2 hottest markets in our area are spring and fall, and so that's like we have several things coming on the market, but we wanted to wait until after Labor Day to see what would happen. So we're starting to see stuff pop back up.
What else is interesting this year compared to, well, right now in the fall season compared to where we were spring, and with really in spring market, kids are back in school.
Right.
So people were more easily able to move when they were doing the whole, you know, school at home.
Yeah. See how that affects.
See how that plays a part too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got a good story. Important to check about people's privacy.
Yeah, you know, we so quickly in what we do, we're so excited to like share the news that, you know, a niece and Ivy family member bought or sold a house. But sometimes you got to slow down and ask if they're okay with that being blasted out into the interwebs. Because years back, I had a client who wanted to keep it very personal just because there was a certain community, their church community, they didn't want them all up in the business. And then I have a client right now who recently closed and doesn't want people open in their business. So it was just, you know, so many people live their lives on social media that you don't slow down to think about that. But yeah, it was just like a little gentle reminder.
I like it.
Check in before. Maybe that's something we put into like our processes when we're, you know, working with our clients, going through the contract.
Ask if it's okay.
Yeah.
To be able to post, for sure. Or have it be one of the questions is like, are you okay with me sharing the journey through social media? This is what we do. And if they say no, then respect their privacy, and you don't show the houses that they're looking at, and you don't show the, you know, their names throughout the process. So interesting concept. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Who you work with matters. Off-market opportunities. So
it's a trend here.
Right. Who you work with matters. Who you work with matters. So
did you know who you work with matters?
I didn't know that. In every aspect, when you know your doctors, anybody professional that has anything to do with it, everything, like who you work with matters. So
put that on a t-shirt.
I know.
I'm
gonna put that on the front of my t-shirt, and then on the back of it, I'm gonna have my diatribe about how I am not getting kickbacks from the developer. Love that for me. Anywho, so off-market opportunities. So Jen has had clients that she has written numerous offers for a specific set of clients, and we knew that we had an off-market opportunity coming up, and so she knew that this specific home would fit her client's needs to a T. And given the fact that the condo market has gone soft, and it was the perfect opportunity for us all to have a conversation and be able to work out a win-win situation for everyone.
Yeah.
And so it was done completely off market, and we do this often. And you know, the question from my seller was, well, what are the downsides? I said nothing.
None.
Absolutely none, because the great thing about doing something off market is in the event that this does not work out in the way that we needed to work out on, she goes to the market completely unscathed. There's nobody has any questions. But you go through the entire process with inspections and appraisals and everything else. So I would highly tell you, or I would tell anybody, don't be scared of off-market opportunities. If the price is right, if the situation is right, if you get all the terms that you want out of it, anything can be negotiated successful with, what's the theme of today? Communication.
But also, what I'm having to do in other buyer conversations is not coach them to think that everything is going to happen off market, because it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. We don't have pocket listings all throughout Northern Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a thing.
All right. They just have, whenever they happen to come up and it meets the criteria, you get, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know it.
Yeah.
But speaking of pocket listings in Northern Virginia, that actually rolls me into my second client story. So it's like misconceptions, right? So people think that just because we're in the real estate industry, we have some kind of like weird, I don't know, we're concerned about competition, I guess would be the right. So it's like, I can honestly tell you there is not a single realtor out there that I consider competition. And that's not me being arrogant. That's just like, we work together in a, like, we have to be very cooperative.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I love NVAR. That's the reason why I'm running for my board of directors. I love my fellow realtors, and there is not a single person out there that I would be concerned about going up against. And if they get it, that means they were the better person for the job.
Well,
if we get it, that means we were the better fit for the job.
Well, and in that case, that's the only time it's a competition is when you're actually going head to head to secure a client or a listing. But how often does that, I mean, it happens. But even then, like, there's business for everybody. So it's not.
Yeah, there is business for everybody. So I bring this up because, like, we've assisted other realtors in this community to find pocket listings, and because it's a different market. They're in different markets. They focus on different areas, but because our community is so beautiful, they've decided to have a second home here, buy a condo, whatever that may be. So the same thing happened last night. I'm like, well, we do know about a lot of stuff that is coming up in the community. So in the next couple of years, you want waterfront, you want this, you want that. I'll keep you abreast of everything that's going on. And it's like, there's no competition here. You know how many realtors live in this neighborhood? I'm pretty sure like at least 100. Easy. But
I'm like a handful in each building.
Right.
People who used to live here, who are still marketing here.
Yeah.
Like, it's
interesting. So the moral of the story is no, we don't see anybody as competition. Yes, we welcome friendly conversation with everyone. We want the best for our community, all of our respected communities. And we can, if we just learn together, we can boost our professionalism as in the industry as a whole. So vote for me for NVR board of directors.
There it is.
Oh, you love that plug.
There it is.
Fellow realtor members. But anyway, I just wanted to address those. Like, it's like just things that hit me as I'm going through and having conversations. I'm like, why does the world, like, I guess I just live in like this perfect little unicorn happy world of rainbows and butterflies sometimes.
Or the extreme opposite, and you're like, burn it all down.
Exactly. Everything is going to hell.
I'm like, well, which one is it today?
Which one is it today?
Is it unicorns or is it fire?
Or maybe unicorns with fire.
Ooh.
I know, very sexy.
Love that. Good moment.
Oh, but tenants and buyers still want to buy your client story.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of already touched on that. I actually have a call with a current renter today who we're continuing to have this conversation, just like talking her off the ledge of understanding that prices are going to continue to rise. Yes, but at the end of the day, so will your pay structure, because you live here in the DMV, you get paid a certain amount to be able to afford living.
Unless you work for the government, then they haven't gotten a pay raise in a long time.
Public school system.
Or the public school system.
Unfortunately, she's in law.
But private industry, you guys are solid.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, just making them, helping them see the glass half full side of things and not the scary unknown side. You know, everything's going to be all right.
Right. People, they live in fear. And I think I was talking about this recently, is like, there was something that I was very scared about for me in my own personal life. And I was talking to a coach at one point in time, and I said, well, you know, what if this happens? And then he looked me dead in the face and said, but what if it doesn't? And that for me shifted my entire mindset of like, well, what if it doesn't? Why would I be living my life in the event that this one possible outcome could happen? But what if the thousands of other outcomes actually happen? But I've been so focused on this little portion of it that I've missed all of the amazing opportunities out here.
Yeah, man.
So I would encourage you, anytime that the fear monster gets in your head, think about the opposite of that, of like, well, what if it doesn't happen this way?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, that's it. We love you guys. We are going to get to our team meeting here in 5 minutes. So if you want to buy or sell real estate in Northern Virginia, DC, or Maryland, hit us up. We love you, and we will see you actually, we won't see you next week because I won't be here. I'll be in Texas.
Oh, okay.
But the following week, we'll see you on the following Wednesday. Love you all. Bye now.